Tonight, the collision on the water in Florida that left one ferry passenger dead and others seriously injured. New video of the moment the boat smashed into the ferry. The race to save passengers in the darkness. Tourists on a pirate ship tour aiding the rescue. What we know about the driver of the boat that hit it. American children deported. New questions after the Trump administration deports 2 children, both American citizens, of an undocumented mother. One child with stage 4 cancer. Our correspondent presses the president's border czar on why. Inside an El Salvadoran prison, our exclusive access to the prison where the U.S. says Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the man mistakenly deported, has been taken to. Prisoners here raising dairy cows. A Texas woman's desperate search for answers after her son was killed by police during a routine traffic stop. The police say he ran at them. What the video shows that she fought 2 years to reveal. Extreme boat launch. The video almost too wild to believe. The boat trying to break a speed record, then catapulting into the air, flipping and crashing. We talked to the team behind the boat, how those on board survived. And the cruise ship brawl, the massive fight that broke out that got dozens of passengers banned from sailing for life. Plus, Beyonce kicks off her mega tour tonight. So why are tickets now selling for less than $100? Top story starts right now. Hey, good evening. Tonight, we're learning new details in the deadly ferry collision in Clearwater, Florida, as new video reveals clues into how the tragedy unfolded. Webcam footage, take a look, capturing the horrifying crash. Police say the passenger boat you see right there plowed on top of that ferry, overrunning nearly 3/4 of the ship. The boat stuck around the scene for several minutes before then taking off. Police saying they located the driver several miles away. And you can see the extensive emergency response here. At least 10 people were hurt, several in critical condition, airlifted to area hospitals. In a moment, you'll hear from one of those on a nearby ship jumping in to help. An aerial video showing just some, look at that. Look at the damage to that boat. Police say 911 operators could hear horrific screaming in the background as people pled for help. This all happening in Clearwater, Florida, on the west coast of the state, just outside of Tampa. You see right here on the map. The boat's colliding just alongside Clearwater Memorial Causeway. Daylight video showing police officers inspecting the ferry, searching for evidence, and looking at the extent of the damage. So the big question tonight, what caused that driver to ram into the ferry? NBC's Marissa Parra working the story tonight for us.
Mayday, mayday, mayday.
A deadly collision on the water and the chaotic aftermath unfolding in the dark of night.
The Clearwater ferry is adrift.
The violent impact caught on camera in Clearwater, Florida. A boat with 6 people on board colliding with a ferry carrying 45.
Our 911 call takers could hear what they described as horrific screaming in the background.
Andrew Tariglio tells us he was part of a nearby pirate cruise boat tour. His crew was among the Good Samaritan boats that stopped to help.
We could just hear them yelling for help, stuff like that.
The ferry seen in shallow water here.
We shined the light because they had no power on their boat, so that at least now they could see. We were yelling to them, communicating that there was help on the way.
A swarm of first responders combed through Clearwater Bay searching for survivors, calling the collision a mass casualty incident.
We had multiple folks with broken bones, a lot of orthopedic injuries, a great deal of soft tissue injuries.
At least 10 people were injured, with 2 airlifted, and one man, a father, was killed. Police say the boat that hit the ferry stayed at the scene for a short amount of time before officers later found it 3.5 miles away. The unnamed captain of the boat, labeled cooperative by authorities who say he voluntarily submitted to a breathalyzer that detected no alcohol. He was not held. The mystery deepening and waters still reeling from tragedy.
Marissa Parra joins us tonight from Clearwater. Marissa, I know you have some new reporting for our viewers here. So authorities have identified both the boat operator and the victim who passed away?
Just seconds ago, Tom, we learned that the identity of the victim, the man who died, is Jose Castro, a father, we understand it. This was someone that was on that ferry. But we also have learned the identity of the person who was driving the boat that crashed into the ferry. His name is Jeff Knight. And at this moment, that's all that we know about Jeff Knight. But what we know about the investigation is they're going to be trying to look at 2 things, Tom, piecing together the timeline as well as the conditions. One of the things they're going to be analyzing, for instance, how were the lights on on both the boat as well as the ferry functioning. All of this is going to be a key part as they interview witnesses, as they look at surveillance video to put together that timeline to help them understand why this happened, as well as the timeline on what happened after when they discovered the driver of that boat, Jeff Knight, 3.5 miles away after police had already arrived on the scene of where this happened. Tom.
Okay, Marissa Parr with that breaking news. Marissa, thank you. We're going to turn to politics right now. President Trump tonight escalating his crackdown on illegal immigration as he prepares to mark 100 days in office tomorrow. But critics now blasting the administration over the removal of 2 young American children with their undocumented mother, one of them with stage 4 cancer. Garrett Hake is following it all from the White House tonight.
Tonight, President Trump, approaching his 100th day in office, focused on his top day 1 priority, border security. The president signing 3 executive orders on immigration, including one ordering the attorney general to compile a list of so-called sanctuary cities and states that don't fully cooperate with the federal immigration authorities, after a weekend raid in Colorado Springs where the DEA says over 100 migrants in the U.S. illegally were arrested at an underground nightclub frequented by MS-13 and TDA gang members.
The American public don't want illegal alien criminals in their communities. They made that quite clear on November 5th, and this administration is determined to enforce our nation's immigration laws.
The White House touting a 95% drop in illegal border crossings in March compared to the same month last year under President Biden. But tonight, the administration is facing criticism from migrant advocates over the removal of 2 American citizen children of an undocumented woman from Honduras, including her 4-year-old son. A migrant rights group says he was sent to Honduras without his medication for stage 4 cancer. The Trump administration says his mother chose to take her children when she was deported.
A mother wanted her children to go with her. What better due process would anybody want? That's a parent's choice, not a government choice, not a judge's choice.
We pressed President Trump's border czar. How is going after families with young kids targeting the worst of the worst?
First of all, we said we're going to prioritize the worst of worst.
You feel like that's what you're doing?
Absolutely. But when you prioritize something, it doesn't mean you forget about everybody else. I've said from day one, if you're in the country legally, you're not off the table.
But nearly 100 days into his second term, it is the economy where President Trump is facing his biggest challenge. Just 39% of Americans approve of his handling of trade and tariffs in a new NBC News Stay Tuned poll. Overall, the president's approval rating stands at 45%, 2 points down from our poll a month ago.
Garrett Hake joins us tonight from outside the White House. Garrett, we saw you there talking to Tom Homan. What's the new reporting? They're now going to be heading towards sanctuary cities. There's a plan to crack down there?
Yeah, that's sort of started by the EO that the president signed today to just compile a list of cities and states that might conceivably fall into that sanctuary city category. Depending on how local laws are written, the White House doesn't even necessarily know who they are. They want to be able to get this list so they can threaten the funding or perhaps pull the funding that is provided by the federal government to these municipalities, cities, and states for not complying with federal immigration orders, as they've been trying to ramp up the number of deportations we've seen all around the country. This is something I pressed Tom Homan about. They're only averaging about 12,000 deportations a month, which puts them well behind any kind of schedule to reach the millions of deportations that the president said he wanted during the campaign. They need more backup from more local authorities if they're ever going to get anywhere close. This list, this executive order today, starts that process, Tom.
Okay, Garrett Hake. Garrett, we thank you. Now to an exclusive look inside the El Salvador prison believed to be holding Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the man mistakenly deported by the Trump administration, whose case has become a flashpoint on the immigration debate. David Noriega is in El Salvador tonight.
This sprawling penitentiary in El Salvador is the last known location of Kilmar Abrego Garcia after he was deported from the U.S.
This is a low-security prison. Every single inmate that you see here has exhibited good behavior. They're nearing the final years of their sentences. That is why they were approved to participate in these work and rehabilitation programs.
U.S. court records say Abrego Garcia was transferred here from CCON, the Supermax mega prison where he was first sent. Officials did not give us access to Abrego Garcia, and they said they would not answer any questions about him. But they showed us the facility where he was last known to be held, a sharp contrast to CCON. Inmates raise dairy cows here, and they move relatively freely. And the prison specifically excludes gang members. No gang members work here, the warden told us, raising questions about why Abrego Garcia was moved here when both President Trump and El Salvador's president have called him a gang member.
El Salvador does not intend to smuggle a designated foreign terrorist back into the United States.
A U.S. immigration judge in 2019 wrote that evidence shows Abrego Garcia is a verified member of MS-13, and President Trump showed a photo of Abrego Garcia's tattoos he says demonstrate gang membership. But his family and his lawyers deny he is a gang member, arguing evidence against him has been discredited, and saying that, like other inmates here, he has been completely cut off from contact with them.
Are you allowed to communicate with anyone in the outside world?
No.
Lawyers, family members?
No.
David Noriega joins us tonight from El Salvador. So, David, tell us more about what you saw inside that prison.
Tom, we saw thousands of inmates engaged in various kinds of work. They were manufacturing desks and other furniture for public schools. They were sewing uniforms for the armed forces and for hospitals and other state institutions. They were farming vegetables to feed themselves and other penitentiaries. It was pretty remarkable, Tom. They had relatively free movement. There were very few guards. Now, of course, you have to remember that what we got was a pretty choreographed tour, but this was nevertheless not the sorts of conditions that we've been hearing about from former prisoners and human rights advocates here in El Salvador. Now, it's important to note, Tom, that this prison is very specific. This is a prison that is dedicated entirely to a plan by the Bukele government to eliminate or at least reduce idleness in prisons. That is why this penitentiary and the program are completely exclusive to inmates who are not gang members and to inmates who have not been arrested under the state of exception here in El Salvador that suspended constitutional liberties. Those people are being held also incommunicado in other prisons, which are the ones about which we've heard stories of extremely difficult conditions. Tom?
Okay, do we know what the latest is on Kilmar Abrego Garcia's case and where that stands? We know that as he had been deported, allegations also came out that he was alleged to have beaten up his wife as well. So where does his case stand when it comes to immigration?
Right. Well, to that allegation specifically, Mr. Abrego Garcia's wife has said that she had filed a sort of preemptive order of protection against him, which she subsequently removed because she deemed it was unnecessary. And generally, his family and his lawyers have said that the evidence against him has generally been discredited. Now, of course, the Trump administration and Trump and Bukele officials maintain their position that Mr. Abrego Garcia is a gang member and a dangerous terrorist. As far as the case is concerned, there is a long-awaited update expected from the U.S. government in federal court on Wednesday. We may get more information then about his whereabouts, the condition of his confinement, and generally about his case. But as of now, the case stands where it has stood for the last few weeks, which is that the U.S. Supreme Court has ordered the Trump administration to facilitate his release from El Salvador. But based on what officials have been telling us and what we've been seeing here on the ground, Tom, neither administration seems to be about to embark on any kind of change in course. Tom?
In Vatican City, the conclave to elect the next head of the Catholic Church set to begin May 7th. Pope Francis was laid to rest Saturday as world leaders and hundreds of thousands of mourners descended upon Vatican City to pay their respects. Now, in just over a week, more than 100 cardinals, all under the age of 80, will be locked inside the Sistine Chapel to take place in the centuries-old.
In the Sistine Chapel, they are now closed to tourists. That's because they've got lots of work to do. In the Sistine Chapel, they have to install the stove and the chimney, Tom, so they can burn the ballots next week. And then all eyes will be on that chimney. We'll be looking for black smoke. That indicates that no agreement has been reached. White smoke means that somebody has gotten 2/3 of the votes and is the next pope. That's on the preparations side, physical preparations. As far as intellectual and spiritual preparations, well, that's up to the cardinals. They met today. There were about 180 cardinals there, both over 80 and under 80, about 100 cardinal electors in that meeting. They talked about all kinds of things, from the future of the church to child abuse and the need to continue to focus on protecting children as part of the mission of the church. They will meet again tomorrow, and we expect those meetings to happen every day this week, with the exception of Thursday and Sunday. Tom?
All right, so that conclave set for May 7th to begin, and we know there's some uncertainty, right, Anne, about whether a man known as one of the most powerful cardinals, at least at one point in the Vatican, will be allowed to vote. What's going on there?
Yeah, that's Cardinal Giovanni Angelo Becciu, and he was a very powerful cardinal, but he was convicted by a Vatican court of fraud and embezzlement because of an investment scheme in London. Now, he has been participating in the congregation, but there is no official word from the Vatican as to whether or not he's going to participate in the conclave? That question was asked today. We got no answer. Something we're going to be looking for in the days to come. Tom?
Okay, Ann Thompson from Vatican City for us, and we thank you. Back here at home, tens of millions under a severe weather threat tonight. A tornado watch now in effect for parts of the Midwest and the plains as damaging winds and hail are expected to slam the region tonight. It comes after a weekend of dangerous weather in Oklahoma, where flooding left at least one person dead. Bill Cairns is tracking the system. Bill, walk our viewers through the threats tonight.
Yeah, we have numerous areas that have a threat of tornadoes. Now, it's just a threat. It doesn't mean it's going to happen. It does not appear that we're in store for like a tornado outbreak, but we do have isolated potential for strong tornadoes tonight. And if it hits a town or a community, yeah, obviously that can be devastating. So we have tornado watches everywhere shown in pink here, Oklahoma to Texas, and a good stretch of Iowa and southern Minnesota. Minneapolis, you were spared. Thankfully, the severe line stayed to your south. It has got a lot of wind damage with it and some hail. We do have a couple tornado warnings. One is going to go just north of Rochester, Minnesota, just south of Red Wing. Right over the top is Zimbrota. Everyone's getting to their shelters there. Further to the south, right on the border here of Iowa and southern Minnesota, we do have a strong storm. This was tornado warned, and now that has been dropped. Further to the south, our friends, the University of Kansas State, and they call it the Little Apple here in Manhattan, severe thunderstorm. And the reason I'm highlighting this is when you see the big pink and magenta like this is the type of storm that's going to be like a lot of dents in any cars that are not protected. So that'll be a story we'll watch over the next couple hours.
All right, Bill, and I understand there's an even larger swath of the country which could be under threat tomorrow?
Yeah, tonight's the tornado threat. Tomorrow, the storm system heads to the east, and a lot of big population centers from Detroit, Indianapolis, Pittsburgh, Buffalo, all of western New York. A big wind damage threat when these storms come through tomorrow. If we get any tornadoes tomorrow, it would likely be in areas of West Texas near Wichita Falls, south of San Angelo, south of Amarillo. Then on Wednesday, we take the storm threat to Dallas, Fort Worth. So we're in this time of year where we're going to get some severe weather almost each and every day. We don't want it to sit in the same location, which is going to happen, unfortunately. That's why we have flood watch up from Wichita Falls to Tulsa to Missouri. It looks like you're going to get nailed with storms tonight. And then again, as we go through Tuesday into Wednesday, some areas could get up to 4 inches of rain. So that'll be a story that will develop through the middle of the week.
All right, Bill Cairns, great to see you. We're back in a moment with the high-speed, high-flying crash. Take a look at this. The boat doing more than 200 miles per hour when it flips in the air and crashes. How did everyone on board survive? Banned for life, the brawl that broke out on a cruise ship, or I should say in a cruise ship terminal, why dozens of passengers will never be allowed to sail again. And the ultimate survivor, how did this tiny dachshund survive more than 500 days lost in the dangerous wilderness, even evading poisonous snakes and kangaroos? The details when Top Story returns. We're back now with jaw-dropping video out of Arizona. Boat racing at 200 miles per hour, flipping through the air with two drivers inside. How they managed to survive with relatively minor injuries. NBC's Ryan Chandler has those videos and this story.
A bold attempt at breaking a record. Gone so spectacularly wrong. It almost doesn't look real. A 38-foot skater speedboat reaching speeds of 200 miles per hour, suddenly going airborne, backflipping and careening before crashing into the waters of Arizona's Lake Havasu on Saturday.
Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, no! No!
Inside that boat, two members of the Freedom 1 racing team competing in the 2025 Desert Storm Shootout, trying for a new record. 244 miles per hour on a 3/4 mile course. They went from 50 to 200 miles per hour in just 13 seconds before the moment of liftoff.
What went wrong at the moment of the crash? Were they just going too fast?
The issue we ran into here is, one, it's a fairly new boat, but it has a lot of power. We were going fast, and right at the end of the track, there, it kind of opens up to a big cove, and we're pretty sure it just caught a really big wind gust.
Holy Teammate Ryan Ola says the design of the boat likely saved the pair from critical injuries. One driver broke a collarbone and several ribs. The other has a semi-fractured knee.
That safety capsule is designed to withstand the most intense crashes, and it held up perfect. I think they definitely walked away with, very minor injuries considering, but I think God has a lot for us in store.
The boat also banged up, but Ryan says everyone's spirits are high.
They were just getting out of the hospital. And when I called them, the first words out of both of their mouths, they had me on speakerphone, and all they cared about was if they won the race. I mean, that was the first comment was, hey, did we win? I mean, I'm like, well, let me make a few phone calls and I'll find out. So we got the word that we actually did one King of the Desert. We were the fastest boat out there.
Ryan, nothing about this story is normal. And I know that you're also hearing that the two drivers who are recovering, they want to get back out there.
Yeah, Tom, believe it or not, they say they're already planning to get back into the cockpit as soon as they can. First of all, they do still have that record to break. They say it's about more than that, though. They want to keep raising money for charity. They raised about $20,000 just from that last event. I should note, too, the drivers did want to stay anonymous, but one thing that we can share, before this crash, among their crew, they were known as John Wayne and Clint Eastwood, like some cockpit nicknames. Now, though, after this crash, they suggested they want to be known as Goose and Maverick after their buzzing the tower, as they put it.
Yeah, buzzing something. Good they're raising some money out of this. All right. We thank you for that, Ryan. When we return, an NBC News investigation, the mother who fought to see this police video, the moment her son was shot and killed by an officer, why she says the video contradicts the police version of events, and why it took her years to get it. And the massive price hikes the super cheap online retailers, Temu and Shein, saying tariffs have forced them to raise their prices on U.S. consumers, some items more than doubling. We'll explain why. We are back now with new details on the horrific SUV ramming attack that killed 11 people at a Filipino heritage celebration in Canada. NBC's Dana Griffin has this report from Vancouver.
Tonight, after 11 people were killed and dozens injured at a festival in Vancouver, we're learning more about those who lost their lives. The victims ranging in age from 5 to 65. Kira Salim was a teacher and counselor at New Westminster Schools. The district writing, "The loss of our friend and colleague has left us all shocked and heartbroken." On Saturday, a suspect rammed a black Audi SUV through a crowd gathered for the Lapu-Lapu Day Festival, celebrating Filipino history. The street was filled with booths and food trucks.
I felt like I was going through like some sort of a war zone or something like that, you know, like just a lot of people like crying for help.
Police say this was not an act of terrorism, adding the 30-year-old suspect, Kaiji Adam Lowe, who they've had interactions with before, has a history of mental illness.
Nothing this horrific, this tragic has ever happened in the city of Vancouver.
It's the latest high-profile crowd ramming incident following the deadly New Year's attack in New Orleans. Police say there were no dedicated officers or vehicle barriers here in Vancouver because there was no known threat. Now some asking if enough protections were in place. How do you respond to those questions?
This was a fun, family, community event. That safety plan that was put in place with the community, with the city of Vancouver, with the Vancouver Police, was a sound plan. That said, we're going to review all of the circumstances.
With that, Dana Griffin joins us tonight from Vancouver. So, Dana, I understand there was just a news conference with police, and we have some new details about the suspect and the victims tonight.
That's right, Tom. So we know 7 people are still in critical condition. Officials say of the people that were killed, 7 are female, 9 are female, 2 are men. They say the day before this attack, the suspect had an interaction with police in a different jurisdiction. They say this was not criminal in nature and did not rise to the level of needing mental health intervention. Now, police would not go into further detail, but say they have conducted a search warrant at the suspect's home. Lowe has not been arraigned, nor has he entered a plea, but he is due back in court in about a month. Tom?
All right, Dana Griffin for us, Dana, we thank you for that. We begin tonight's top stories with newsfeed in Memphis, where a historic church went up in flames early this morning. Known as the epicenter during the civil rights movement, the Claiborne Temple was a key meeting spot for the sanitation worker strike of 1968 and hosted Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. The Memphis Fire Department saying the building is a total loss. The cause of that fire right now is unknown. 24 people are now banned from sailing with Carnival Cruise Line after getting into a fight. The video from Saturday appears to show a group of people, you see them here, shoving each other while disembarking a ship inside of a terminal in Galveston. You can see people being pushed to the ground. In a statement to NBC News, Carnival says this happened in an area under the authority of U.S. Customs and Border Patrol and has been turned over to law enforcement. Prosecutors filing federal charges, including wire fraud and robbery today against one of the men accused of stealing Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem's purse. According to court documents, after stealing the purse, he threw away Noam's driver's license. Then he used her credit card to buy more than $200 of food and alcohol. Police say he has admitted to that crime. A second suspect arrested in connection to the theft also appeared in court today on a charge of possessing the stolen license. He's asking for a public defender, and bail was set at $2,500. A U.S. attorney for the District of Columbia says both suspects are in the country illegally. And Martinelli is issuing a recall for bottles of apple juice that may be contaminated with a toxic substance, according to the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. A statement saying routine testing by the FDA showed that a lot of 10-ounce Martinelli's apple juice had elevated levels of a toxin that is produced by molds that can grow in apples. The recall includes more than 170,000 bottles across 28 states. No health issues have been reported. And they say never meet your heroes, but it turned out pretty well for 9-year-old Eli Feinstein, who had set up a roadside stand in Paradise Valley, Arizona, just north of Scottsdale. Eli says he was just about to close up shop when one last person pulled up, Phoenix Sun star Devin Booker. Booker picking out some snacks and Gatorade, then handing Eli $200.
Whoa, thank you. Thank you so much. Cool car.
Thank you.
As Booker was about to drive off, Eli says he couldn't resist making sure this customer was in fact his favorite basketball player.
I am.
I'm like your biggest fan.
My man. Give me some.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. You guys keep doing what you're doing. Have a good one.
Eli says he was raising money for Almost There Rescue, which helps pregnant dogs and their puppies. The foundation says since this video, donations have been pouring in. What a great story. Okay, now to Money Talks and the two online retailers known for their super cheap prices, now having to raise them in some cases by more than double. Online marketplaces Shein and Temu are both based in China, and those new tariffs on the country now impacting customers here in the U.S. Here's Christine Romans.
This 3-pack of men's athletic shorts went from $23 to $56 after retailer Temu added a more than $32 import charge into the shopping cart.
My $18 free shipping Temu order that I tried to place last night had a $27 import charge.
Over at Shein, prices rising too.
Has anyone looked at their Shein cart this morning?
Both posting nearly identical notices to customers, blaming, quote, recent changes in global trade rules and tariffs. After the Trump administration closed a loophole that allowed duty-free shipment of low-cost Chinese goods directly to U.S. households, they'll now carry a 120% tariff or $100 shipping fee, rising to $200 in June. These products so cheap, even with these higher costs, many of them are still less expensive than U.S.-made goods. It's an early look at how the U.S.-China trade war will bring border taxes to Americans' bottom lines. President Trump says the two sides are negotiating, and the Treasury Secretary today said the next move is China's.
It's up to China to de-escalate because they sell 5 times more to us than we sell to them. And so these 125, 145% tariffs are unsustainable.
A Chinese official disputing the White House account, saying China and the U.S. have not conducted consultations or negotiations on the tariffs issue.
Christine joins us now in studio. So, Christine, we just heard there in your report, China is saying there's no real progress on these tariff issues. So where is the progress?
Well, the Treasury Secretary said there's 15 to 18 countries that they're going to prioritize here, and that there could be progress with India. Maybe that would be one of the first deals to get done. But I'd remind you, 72 days until the end of that 90-day pause and those big tariffs that the president hit the pause button on. So there's a lot of work to do, and time is running short.
All right, Christine Romans for us. Christine, great to have you in studio. We also have an NBC News investigation tonight into a mother's mission to get answers after an officer-involved shooting in rural Texas left her son dead. Dashcam video capturing the moments before and after the shooting, but it took the family nearly 2 years just to see that video. NBC's Stephanie Goss reports, we want to warn you, the video is disturbing.
Good evening. I heard the officer say, "Good evening, sir." Michael said, "Good evening, sir," back, and he told me he loved me, and he hung up the phone.
Wendy Tippett was on the phone with her 29-year-old son, Timothy Michael Randall, when a sheriff's deputy pulled him over. It was late at night in rural Rusk County, Texas.
The reason I pulled you over is you blew that stop sign back there.
No, I didn't. I came to a complete stop with that stop sign.
Sergeant Shane Iverson spotted an open container, according to police.
Step out of the vehicle for me.
The confrontation escalated fast.
You got anything on you? You should.
Can you just tell me, officer, please, can you tell me what I'm under arrest for, please? Please.
Get out.
Sergeant Iverson, a former Green Beret who served multiple tours overseas, fired one shot. Randall ran off. But when Sergeant Iverson found him moments later...
Dude, you okay?
He was collapsed on the ground. The deputy calling it in.
I need an ambulance. Call everybody. I've got a shooting.
After driving his patrol vehicle over and administering first aid.
Come on, stay with me, buddy.
Then on a phone call, 13 minutes after firing that shot.
4125, I need everybody.
What happened?
I just smoked a dude.
Meanwhile, Tippett did not hear back from her son, so she went looking for him.
I couldn't make myself go up there. Sorry. I knew something was bad. I'm calling mother's intuition, I don't know. I just knew it was bad. And then the ambulance and the fire trucks got there. And nobody was in a big hurry. He told me to go home and be with my family. And I said, my family's laying in the road.
You realized he was dead?
Yeah.
According to the autopsy, the bullet hit Randall in the right upper chest and then pierced his heart, killing him in minutes. Tippett was desperate to know what happened.
I was told nothing.
You were told nothing?
Nothing. I couldn't
asking?
even get a police report.
From the moment Sergeant Iverson approached the car to the moment he fired his gun is just over a minute. There's body cam, there's dash cam. Randall's mother asked repeatedly to see it and was told no. It would take nearly 2 years and a lawsuit before they were released. What the Sheriff Department video reveals, the wrestling to the ground, Randall standing back up, and the gunfire. Still disputed today. Authorities told Tippett her 29-year-old son, who was unarmed, ran toward Sergeant Iverson.
I didn't see any evidence of that in the video. The only person that was attacking anybody was Sergeant Iverson.
Oftentimes, dash cam doesn't get anything outside of the purview of the frame of the camera, but this caught it all.
Joe Oxman, a civil rights attorney, represents Tippett in a lawsuit she has filed against Sergeant Iverson.
This, I think, is, if not the worst police shooting ever in U.S. history, it's definitely one of the worst.
You got anything on you? You shouldn't keep your hands out of your pocket.
Sergeant Iverson says it was self-defense.
I saw him reaching into his waistband, which at that point in time turned this into a dangerous situation.
Randall had both methamphetamines and marijuana in his system, according to the toxicology report. Police say there was a drug pipe in his pants pocket.
Felt that object and believed it was a weapon.
A gun like this one, according to Iverson's attorney, Robert Davis.
So that officer in that split second has to make a decision about whether or not that officer is going to lose his life.
Davis says Randall was desperate because he had already served prison time for drug possession and didn't want to be arrested again. When I watched the video, it looked like Randall was running away.
That's not how I see it, and part of that is because I've done this a lot. You can see his feet, and his feet are pointed right toward the deputy.
But he's got his hands up with no weapon.
Well, it's not like he's saying, whoa, I surrender, because he's not doing that, obviously.
Sergeant Iverson has since retired from the Sheriff's Department. A grand jury determined he should not be charged with a crime. But when his defense attorney tried to get the civil lawsuit thrown out, a magistrate judge disagreed. Writing in his decision, a reasonable juror could conclude that defendant Iverson's actions were objectively unreasonable.
The sheriff, if he would have just come to me and said, you know, I'm so sorry for your loss. I'm sorry this happened. I'm sorry.
But instead, Tippett says she's been stonewalled by local authorities for 2 years. And now she wants accountability.
My son's life mattered. Mattered to me, mattered to his brother, mattered to his family, and so many friends. He did not deserve to be shot. He should still be here with me.
Stephanie Goss joins us now. So, Stephanie, you have 2 years before the family gets that video. Have officials said why it took so long?
Well, they haven't given them any answers. In fact, when I spoke to the mother, and you can see how upset she is, one of her greatest frustrations is that she feels like she's not getting the answers to her questions. The only reason she saw this video, Tom, is because they filed their lawsuit and it came out in discovery. Otherwise, she would not have seen it. She would only have the characterization that was given to her of what happened that night. And that is part of the problem here. She wants to shine a light on what happened to her son, and she doesn't think that law enforcement in the area is taking it as seriously as they should.
Stephanie Goss with that incredibly compelling report tonight. Stephanie, we thank you for that.
You're welcome.
We're back in a moment with Kim Kardashian preparing to take the stand as the trial begins for the men who allegedly tied her up and robbed her. What was revealed in court today? And Beyonce on a bargain. The superstar's tour kicks off tonight, so why are tickets suddenly so cheap? Stay with us. We're back with top stories. Global Watch. Fires at Iran's biggest port finally extinguished 2 days after that deadly explosion. Iranian state media reporting that at least 65 people were killed in the blast in southern Iran. More than 120 are still in the hospital. Iran's interior minister telling Iranian state TV that culprits have been identified and that the explosion was caused by negligence. Okay, for the first time, North Korea confirming that it sent troops to fight alongside Russia and Ukraine. North Korea saying its troops helped Moscow take control of the Kursk region. Those troops were deployed under a mutual defense pact that Kim Jong-un signed with Russian President Vladimir Putin last June. American officials had said North Korea sent as many as 12,000 troops to Kursk, but until now, North Korea would neither confirm nor deny those reports. Okay, and a runaway dog in Australia found alive and well after spending more than 500 days alone in the wilderness. 500! Video showing Valerie, the miniature Dotson, following a scent trail of a familiar item into a cage set up by a wildlife rescue group known as Australia's Favorite Fugitive. The dog disappeared during a camping trip on Kangaroo Island off the coast of southern Australia in November of 2023. Wildlife rescue experts say the dog was presumed dead since Kangaroo Island is home to many venomous snakes and spiders. That is until frequent sightings of a small dog with a pink collar began to emerge. Incredible, they found her. Now to the long-awaited Kim Kardashian robbery trial. The suspects accused of robbing the reality star at gunpoint and tying her up in a Paris hotel room appearing in court for day one of the trial, in which Kim Kardashian herself is expected to testify. NBC's Chloe Malas has the details.
Almost 9 years after Kim Kardashian was violently attacked and robbed during Paris Fashion Week, the suspects accused of planning and carrying out that assault arriving today in court for the start of the high-profile trial. The aftermath of the October 2016 armed robbery documented extensively on the reality show Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
They asked for money. I said, I don't have any money. They dragged me out to the hallway on top of the stairs. That's when I saw the gun, like clear as day.
Police say Kardashian was alone in her apartment at the hotel around 2:30 a.m. when 5 masked burglars wearing police jackets entered the building after possibly seeing Kardashian wearing a multi-million-dollar ring on social media. Police say the armed assailants made their way into Kardashian's bedroom, gagging, binding, and blindfolding the reality star, who later revealed she thought she was going to die.
And I was like, okay, this is it. And I just kept on thinking about Courtney. I kept on thinking she's going to come home and I'm going to be dead in the room.
The thieves making off with over $9 million of the star's jewelry, including that ring. Using DNA and security footage, police tracking down and arresting the suspects 3 months later. Nicknamed the Grandpa Robbers by French media due to their ages, 10 people now being tried, 9 men and 1 woman. Among the charges, armed robbery, kidnapping, unauthorized possession of weapons, and participating in a criminal conspiracy. Kardashian is expected to take the stand to recount the details of that harrowing night. In a recent statement, her attorneys saying Ms. Kardashian is preserving her testimony for the court and jury. One of the accused, however, Yunus Abbas, speaking to press on his way into the courtroom, saying, I can't wait for the trial to start. Abbas wrote a book about the robbery called I Kidnapped Kim Kardashian, writing that the job was supposed to be his last before retirement. During interviews, Abbas, who has already spent time in jail, apologizing and recalling he didn't think Kardashian would be traumatized. Abbas saying, since I didn't brutalize her, I didn't do anything wrong. I wasn't blaming myself for anything in that regard, and yet I am responsible too.
NBC News entertainment correspondent Chloe Malas joins us now. Chloe, people at home may be saying, wait, when did this happen? It was 2016. Why is the trial getting started now, nearly 10 years later?
I know. How did it take 9 years to see the inside of a courtroom? I'll tell you how. Multiple defendants had health issues. One defendant even died over the last few years. One is too ill to actually stand trial, and they're going to have their own trial, but that could be dismissed altogether. I mean, remember, they're called the grandpa robbers for a reason, because they were in their 60s at the time of this heist. So again, it took a long road to wrangle these 10 defendants, but they finally did. And Kim, she's going to be testifying and staring at these individuals face to face who robbed her and, held her
tied her up. Yeah. All right, Chloe Malas, I'm sure we'll be following all the developments. We thank you for being here. We're back in a moment with the fans lining up right now for Beyonce's kickoff concert for her new tour. But the big question today, after the mad rush to get tickets months ago, why are some on sale for less than $100? You heard me right. We're going to explain. Finally tonight, Beyonce's highly anticipated Cowboy Carter tour is about to kick off in Los Angeles. Fans of Queen Bee's Grammy Award-winning album will be hearing it live for the first time at SoFi Stadium. And while many people bought their tickets for hundreds, even thousands of dollars a few months ago, you can now get it for a fraction of the price. Tickets for tonight's show now going for just $80. And for her upcoming concerts in other cities, we've seen prices as low as $50. So why are Beyonce tickets suddenly so cheap? NBC's Liz Kreutz is at the arena for us tonight, which has been transformed into a Cowboy Carter oasis. Liz, thanks so much for joining us. Liz, this is like a big story. So why are the ticket prices going down?
Yeah, I mean, it's shocking, Tom, for a lot of people, right? It's opening night of the Cowboy Carter tour, and you could go on Ticketmaster resale right now. You could go on StubHub and buy a nosebleed seat for $50. In fact, one of our colleagues, one of our photographers did that. He was here. He bought some tickets. He's going to come back and go tonight. I mean, that's really unheard of, and I think it's sort of unclear why. Is it this dynamic pricing from Ticketmaster? That's what a lot of folks here are sort of blaming. Or is there sort of an economic story here, a tightening of the belt, so to speak? We've been covering the past few years, the Taylor Swift concert, the Renaissance tour, people spending thousands of dollars to go to those tours. Is there sort of a fear that people should be tightening their spending and pulling back? And so people bought the tickets thinking they could sell them on the resale market, and they're just not selling. We don't know. We'll see.
Have you been talking to fans? I mean, is there an issue with enthusiasm? Cowboy Carter came out a while back. Incredible album. Beyonce puts on an incredible show. We all know that. But I got to tell you, my wife is a super fan. We've gone to a bunch of shows. I'm shocked you can get Beyonce tickets for $50 in this country.
Totally. Okay, so yeah, let me show you. There's a lot of enthusiasm here, Tom. The doors haven't opened yet. This is SoFi Stadium. Doors haven't opened. This is all just the line for people who want to get merchandise right now. We're seeing a lot of denim, a lot of fringe, people from all over the world. The first woman in line who was here at the merchandise, she came all the way from the UK to be here for opening night. She got here at 8:30 in the morning to get merchandise. Everybody we've talked to has flown in to be here. So a lot of enthusiasm. But when you actually ask people, like, what do you make of the fact that other people can get tickets for so cheap tonight, there's a little bit of anger. Take a listen. I know you're obviously very excited, but how are you feeling about the fact that all of a sudden today you could go on and get $50 tickets?
Pissed.
Yeah.
Like, it's cool for people who, wanted to come last minute and couldn't afford it when tickets went on sale, but it's kind of like when we paid like $1,300, $1,200 to get in the 400 section when the first pre-sale happened.
So what they said is they bought them on pre-sale, Tom, thinking that the tickets would only go up from there. But actually what happened is over the past few weeks, they watched the ticket prices drop. So they reached out to Ticketmaster. They said Ticketmaster wasn't particularly helpful, but did say, OK, if you pay a few $100s, we'll give you an upgrade. So they did that. But you can see they're kind of annoyed, although they look very cute and, stylish, decked out in their Cowboy Carter outfits. But other folks, they just say, you know what, I'm happy I got my tickets. I got the seat that I want, the night that I want, and that means I get the experience that I want. So they're happy.
Yeah, that might be the first time we've had both chaps and tall boys on Top Story, but there's always room for first. Liz, so the big question to you is, so tickets now, I mean, they're obviously, you can get tickets. Are you going to go check out Beyonce in L.A.?
Yeah, Tom, I didn't even think about it. I just got thrown this assignment. I came down. I did put on some bedazzled jewels, and now I'm like, wait, I could stay. I might actually after this, if I can get Sosie, my producer, on board, I might get us to stick around for the night. So we'll see. I'll keep you posted. Thanks.
Crack open some tall boys. All right, Liz Kreutz for us. We thank you for that, and we thank you for watching Top Story. I'm Tom Llamas in New York. Stay right there. More news on the way.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.